Welcome back, everybody. Now we're going to do SYSLOG. All right, SYSLOG. The important thing with SYSLOG is all the different severity levels. They're from 0 to 7. You need to memorize those. Now we're going to go into a presentation. It's going to explain to you SYSLOG, and then we will configure SYSLOG. All right, and you'll be able to see, we'll do a debug IP rip. Okay, yes, I said rip, version 2. But we'll do a debug IP rip so you can see the updates and you see how your SYSLOG server starts getting filled up. All right, so just pay close attention in the presentation, then wait for the lab. Practice it a couple of times, you got it down pat, and you'll know. But you'll know how to do SYSLOG. But that table with the severity levels and the that's the main thing you need to focus on. Is that table? Is that the different severity levels that you have? Remember those. Those are going to be key for the test. I'll see you inside. Hello, everybody. All right. Now we're going to start talking about SYSLOG messages, right? These is what they call device management protocols. SYSLOG is important, all right? Obviously, everybody uses third-party software, your Cisco DNA dashboard or your SolarWinds dashboard or your PRTG dashboard, whatever dashboard you're using, SYSLOG is in there. But you can configure SYSLOG on the router as well. And what SYSLOG does, its purpose is to send you information, okay, and what's going on, right? So you know, hey, this just occurred, this message just happened, all these things. I mean, there's a bunch of things that SYSLOG does for you that sends you back information. And when you're doing these logging stuff, there's, like you have a timestamp, tells you when it happened. The facility code, this is actually the system identifier that categorizes the function or module that has generated a message. Always begins with a % sign. Severity, this is key right here. All right, I'm not even going to highlight it. All right, this is key right here. You need to know your severity levels, because when you do severity levels, if you, let's say you put 4, so you're going to get everything from 0 to 4. If you put 7, you're going to get everything from 0 through 7. So, 4 is pretty much the default, okay, that everybody uses, so they can get information. We'll look at them shortly here. All right, mnemonic, short string that categorizes the events with the facility code. Use mnemonic devices, obviously, so you can learn the security code, the first letter, like all people seem to need Domino's Pizza for the OSI model, or the PDUs, don't stop pouring free beer, right? That's what I use. So make up your own mnemonic device, and one exists, all right? In your book, I can't recall it right now, but one does exist, all right, in there, okay? Now, mnemonic for the message, like up, down, or what have you, all right? And you also have a description or message text, which is the description of an event or condition that are triggered. Now, this is nice to know, this is good to know, so you know what the hell you're looking at, all right? But more importantly is the severity levels, all right? And it goes from 0 to 7, okay? So you need to come up with some, okay, so I can memorize these things. So let me open up this a little bit here. There you go, information. All right, so let's say you put informational, if you set your severity level to informational, you're going to get all these messages. You're going to get the emergent, the crashes, the stops, the alerts, the critical, the errors, the warnings, the notifications, plus the informational. All right, you may not want to do that, just like the event viewer in your operating system, right? When you look at event logs, you could event log yourself to death. You need to monitor that because you want to save those messages. Do not turn off logging. Do not turn off logging. That you don't want to do, all right? Because you can turn on logging the console, the monitor, buffered, the logging host, which is the address where you're going to be logging the host to, and then you put the trap level and all that stuff. And we'll do a lab so you can go ahead and see it. But the point is, don't turn that off. It may be a nuisance, That's why we do login synchronous, right? Login synchronous under the console, login synchronous under the telnet lines, login synchronous under the auxiliary if you're dialing in, whatever. Just put login synchronous, all right? So it doesn't interrupt you. So when an interface goes down or a protocol sends an update or something changes and you're logging for that, okay, your typing won't be interrupted, one. And two, you're sending this to a particular server. You're sending this to, I say server because in the packet tracer, you have the, well, I'm sure workstations don't have that. The servers have a monitor or really a software that they get all these logging messages, okay, coming to them, all right, and it tells you what's going on. So if you have DHCP snooping, those are warnings, right, for DHCP snooping, all right, then you're going to get that information. That's why it's 4, right? So all these different things you want to do, right? When it comes to security, there's layers upon layers upon layers upon layers. There's a gigantic web of securities that you need to make sense of, right? That's why designing is the very first thing of anything, all right? But as far as the configuration that we're going to do, it's not difficult because, well, we're going to do logging console 7. For the buffer in your book, it tells you logging buffer at 4. Packet tracer doesn't do that. It gives you a buffer size, but you can't do logging buffer at 4. Okay, and then you log to who you're logging to. Well, you put the IP address of the host, and then what trap. The trap is this. Okay, this is the traps. What level you're using. Okay, so that's what SYSLOG is, and this is just one of the monitoring protocols that we're going to talk about. All right, in the particular lab. But do you need to know this? This table right here is crucial. This is one thing you better memorize. You better know. So figure out how are you going to do it, okay? And there is, I'm sure you can Google somewhere, or it's in the book. I'm sure somewhere's in there that they have, you know, because at one point, I think there was a mnemonic device that they had in the previous CCNA 20-125 that you can go ahead. I think it was Todd Lamley's book, actually, that had the acronym. All right, but there's an acronym that you learn so you know, okay, these are the security levels, and this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, always remember 0 is the worst thing in the world. All right, those are your crashes and stop processes. And then 7 is just debugging. So you do, let's say, like we're going to do a debug IP rip. Yes, we're going to do a debug IP rip. All right, because rip is very easy to do, very simple, very quick. All right, I'm not trying to show you how to configure an entire enterprise network. I'm trying to show you a concept of how logging works, okay? So we're going to take a look at this real quick. But, I mean, when you're configuring the logging, definitely you need to point it to a particular server, all right? And you need to just go in there. And once you turn that on, you see that things are going to start logging in. Now, what's interesting, though, just so you know, because this is volume 2, I don't see SMTP in here. I'll be showing you SMTP because that's just me. But I don't see SMTP because SMTP is another one that you do. But don't worry, never worry. Laz is here, and I'll be giving you that information. All right. So enough talk. This is what SYSLOG does, right? It gives you back. It's cross platforms, SYSLOG, right? So no matter if it's Linux, if it's Apple, if it's Microsoft, whatever the hell you're using, okay, it's SYSLOG is there to help you. And remember, okay, you have a dashboard, especially now that Cisco is pushing their Cisco DNA, right, for everybody to configure it. You have SYSLOG already built in there. And like I said a million times, SolarWinds has been doing this for a long time. PRTG does it as well. And like them, there's a million of them out there. Dashboards that you configure the SYSLOG, the SNMP, the NetFlow. Those of you that are familiar with all that, because the NetFlow is really the snitch that says, hey, the reason we got low bandwidth, the reason you're getting these logging messages, yeah, is because Laz is going on bodybuilding.com every single day, looking at all these different poses and stuff like that, and all these different workout routines. and that's why the network is slow. So we need to go NetFlow. NetFlow is the snitch. Tells you exactly which computer, IP address, individual, whatever. It gives you everything. But everything is done through third-party software. But I'm going to show you how to do this through the packet tracer. Very simple. Already a CCIE that took the CCNA said that the packet tracer is more than enough for what you need to go ahead and take this. And remember, this has already been said because there's a whole bunch of CCIEs taking the CCNA just to see what this is all about. And there's, according to them, all right, there's 0 configurations. There's 102 questions, all right, which you have 2 hours to do. All right, so basically, you're just going to be looking at snippets. You're going to be doing drag and drop. You're going to be doing matching. You're going to be doing multiple choice. So, because you have 102 questions, 2 hours, you do the math. I came out with 1 minute and 17 seconds per question. So you're not going to configure, you can't even configure my housekeeping in 1 minute and 17 seconds, okay? Much less something, more intricate, okay? So no. So with that said, let's get out of here and let's go inside the lab and let's do SYSLOG. See you there. Alrighty, so here we are in this very enterprise, campus, globally nation. No, this very simple lab, okay, which I already did all the mundane stuff. I went ahead and put the IP addresses on there, 1.1, Saturday 24, 1.254. All right, we see that we have, even though I've done it, I've checked it, I want to make sure that you guys do the same thing. When you start, you go anywhere you want, if I can type. Ping 192.168.1.254. You want to make sure that you have at least basic connectivity. And to be honest with you, RIP is running. So I should be able to ping 10.115. So this is a barrel 10.1.1.5. So I'm pinging all the way over there. And I am running RIP. Labs, why are you running RIP? It's not part of the test, man. Let me tell you something there, buddy boys, buddy girls. They may not be configuring RIP, but they're going to be asking you questions about RIP and EIGRP, and they're going to drill down on OSPF and BGP, but they're going to ask questions about EIGRP and RIP. So I show you. That's why you need to look at those bonus questions on volume 1. You better do that. Okay. What am I doing? Oh, I'm just showing you stuff. Show IP protocols. You see I'm running RIP. Okay, I'm running RIP in there, right? But I'm not running anything else. So let's say we'll do it on both routers. How about that? We just do logging on both routers. All right, so we'll do config T. I mean, it's really very simple, okay? Let's question mark it. How about that? All right, and that could be a question on the test, which is hilarious. It's a very low-level question, but question mark shows you what's available underneath that particular prompt you're in. Okay, what commands are available to you. So HAK, elemental PQRS, there's logging. Here we are. We're going to be doing logging. No, what are we doing? SYSLOG? Yeah, logging. All right, so logging. Logging what? Well, before we even do that, how about that? Before we even do that, let's do a show logging. And let's open this up. All right, because your book shows you this, right? They tell you turn it on. That's already on. Okay? You're logging for the console. I see it's level 6. Okay, so you're getting from 0 to 6. All right, monitoring logging level, debugging for. Okay, buffered logging is disabled. And I'm going to show you all the different things. Login exception size. There's more information. Oh, there's more. All right. Trap level logging, information 6. All right. So there's already stuff that's already logging for. All right. So we're just going to go in there and tweak some things. Okay. So when you do logging, you're like, oh, all right. So where are we logging to? It says here, well, let's put the logging trap. Let's put the logging trap. Logging trap. Hell, we can only do one. Okay, so debugging. All right, so that's all we can do. Logging trap. So that's what we're logging for debugs. Okay, so we're just gonna. That's why we're gonna debug RIP. All right, what else? Set the syslog server IP address. Okay, I'll do that. Okay, well, where was I looking at? That's login host. Login host, and then it says login. What does it say again? Set the syslog server IP address. Okay, login host, and then what's an IP address? It's 192.168.1.1. Is there anything else? That's it. Okay. All right. What else? Oh yeah, the one they talked about in the book. And it says the login buffered. Yeah, based on what your book says, right? Login buffered. You can put a size to the damn thing, but you just can't put a 4. You just can't do that. Let's see what happens when you just put 4. It gives you an error. Okay. So no. You gotta put in the size, okay, which is 4096 all the way to 20. You can do it if you want. I mean, it's completely up to you. Your book wants you to do it, but you can't unless you are on a real iOS, whatever. But the whole point of it is not. It's just seeing the messages come in. That's the whole point. Seeing the messages. So we already did the trap. We already pointed it to the server that's going to get this information. And what's interesting, it says here the IP address of the login host. I'm not going to put that in there yet. So we'll do that. All right. And then we're going to do it. Microsoft can tell me crap. All right. So I'm going to, oh man, I did it on this one. I did it on this one. Okay. So let's do it on this one now. Okay. Let's open it more. Let's open it more. All right. So I'm going to go enable. Config T. Config T. Login again. What do we want to do? The trap. We know we can only use debugging. Okay, and then logging. The host is not the host. The host. All right, it's going to be 192.168.1.1. All right. All right. Do WR. Cool. All right. So that's supposed to be running. So what we're going to do is we're going to do Control C, and we're going to do an IP because we're debugging, right? IP debug, IP debug, debug, IP rip. Now I'm not going to wait, so I'm going to hit the fast forward button. All right, fast forward. So you see a whole bunch of updates, right? All right, so let's go in here, the server. All right, and go to services. You go to syslog, and there you are. Oh, and there you are. You're getting your, it's on. Okay, getting it. Nothing else. I just went in there and started looking. Look, I'm getting all this information, right? And when I keep fast forwarding through time, fast forward, fast forward, fast forward, fast forward, fast forward, more updates, more updates, more updates. Go back in there, the line just keeps getting bigger and bigger, getting all these RIP updates. Okay, so because we're debugging IP rip. So that is what syslog is. It's just giving you information, all right, on what's going on. And you determine the level or the trap, all right, that you want to get. But this can get pretty big. It really can. So you got to be careful whether you want to clear the log or you want to save the log, all right, because we can clear it, all right. You see there's nothing there now. We just cleared it, nothing there. Let's fast forward through time. Fast forward, fast forward, fast forward, fast forward, fast forward. And then we go back in and we got some more information again. So you don't think it was there before, okay? But obviously you want to save this information. You want to, so you can always go back to it and see what was going on, depending on the trap message. Remember, you got from 0 to 7. 0 being the worst case scenario. 7 just, debugging, okay? But that's syslog. And that's something that everybody uses on the network to, not the only thing that everybody uses, but is what people use in order to see what's going on. People say, well, I turn off logging off. Well, then you're an idiot, okay? Because haven't you ever been typing on your router, and you start doing things, let's say, I don't know, let's do, oh my God, okay, IP domain hyphen name last.com. Let's do last.com. All right, and then we're going to do SSH. IP SSH authentication retries 3. IP, SSH, timeout, 120 seconds, all right? And then we will do crypto key generate, all right? RSA 1024, all right? And then once we try to go into the console, look what's going to happen into the line VTY. Line VTY, all right? 0 space 4, those are the default tenant lines. I'll just do it there for, so people are asking, hey, what do you put 15? 0 through 4, your default tenant lines, 5 lines. You see how that message pops up? That's logging, okay? So you don't want to turn that off. You want the console to constantly give you back, you know, informational stuff, right? That's why it's at 6, okay? It gives you back informational stuff. You don't want to turn it off. Where it says they turn their logging off, well, then they better have some other kind of third-party software that's going to actually watch that stuff. Let me just finish it off here by just doing password Cisco. All right, I'm going to do login local. I'm not going to create a username right now, but just to finish it, transport, input. I was going to put SSH. You can do all or telnet. I'm just going to put SSH. And that's it. But the whole point of it is that this popped up when I went to the line VTY, right? Before I got to here, this line popped up right smack in the middle. Okay, so that's logging information. And like I said in the presentation, see, it's description. It's telling me, okay, all that stuff. It's that it's March 1st at the time and all that stuff, you know. And my God, it goes out into all those seconds. Okay, and then obviously the version that I have set up. Okay, so that is what logging does. That is something that you should have running. Now, are you going to configure this? Hell no. Are you going to configure this? No. Doubt it completely. Be ready for it. Now you know how to do it. I'm not saying about the SSH, but I'm saying as far as the logging is concerned, the only thing you need to understand is, okay, what trap? Okay, know that table that I showed you in the presentation, 0 through 7. Okay, and then you need to set it into a particular IP address that's going to pick up on all those messages. And then if you're doing debugging, obviously, it's not going to pick up anything. If I right now, well, I'm not doing it here. I'm not debugging here, so I'm not going to get anything from this guy, right? Because if I do debug IPRIP here, right, that's on, and I will fast forward through time, fast forward, just so I can get some information in there, go back to my SYSLOG server. Okay, you see that the line is getting a lot bigger. I'm getting a lot more information. See, I'm getting the LAN because this is what's going on here. So I have to do that because I'm not waiting, because RIP is every 30 seconds. So you're going to be getting updates like that. But definitely, you want to make sure you save the information, then it's there for a period of time, and then you discard it. But definitely don't leave it in your logs, because they can really get big really quick. You want to go ahead and clear the log. Okay, clear the log after saving it, and then so you can have it for future use. Cool? That is SYSLOG. No biggie, no diggity. The presentation, the table with the traps, that's important, and those commands that we typed to turn on logging. Okay, logging. That's it. That's it. Cool. Oh, look, see, 30 seconds. It just populated. Okay, so just to let you know. Cool. If you want to stop, just so you know, if you want to stop the debugging, just do U all. That stops it. I'll go to the other one, do the same thing, and then go enable, do U all. Ooh, too many else. Up arrow, and that stops all debugging. Okay, so that's all there is to it. All right, see you in the next one.